What's up, beautiful world? This is TNA, Top Notch Audio, and welcome to another episode of r/IDon'tWorkHereLady. Our first story will be Crazy Karen somehow mistakes 14-year-old for bartender. And then I use the I don't work here phrase on my wife. Followed by the I don't work here lady triple threat. And finally, do you work for the Spurs? If this is your first time listening, remember to hit that subscribe button on the bottom right hand corner. If this is not your first time, welcome back. Enjoy the stories of r/IDon'tWorkHereLady. And this story is posted by u/LitCandle87. Crazy Karen somehow mistakes 14-year-old for bartender. I was thinking about this yesterday and decided it might be good to post on this sub. Also, this happened a few years ago, so hopefully I remember everything right. OP is me, Karen is K, my dad, D. My dad used to own an ice rink where we lived. The ice rink had a bar in a pretty big lobby that was really long. Think about 30 feet or 10 meters. I liked to go behind the bar and was allowed to since my dad owned the rink, and I would get lemonade and occasionally get some for my friends too without charging them. One day I was behind the bar just getting some lemonade like I normally did. While my back was turned to the bar, I heard somebody sort of clearing their throat as if to get my attention. I didn't pay any mind to it, assuming they were trying to get the actual bartender, Mary's, attention. After I finished filling up my lemonade, I turned around and saw this lady. She looked unhappy and I immediately got nervous. I have social anxiety and I tend to clam up around adults I don't know, especially when I was younger. Then this exchange happened. Okay, excuse me, but I have been trying to get order drinks and you have been ignoring me. OP, ma'am, I didn't know you were talking to me. I don't work here. I'm only behind the bar because... K, cutting me off. I need 2 lemonades, a Sprite, a Budweiser, and a Coors Light. OP, ma'am, for the last time, I don't work here. I'm 14. Please go see the actual bartender, Mary, and order your drinks. K, starting to get mad. Then why are you behind the bar? Are you trying to steal drinks? OP, no ma'am, I've been trying to tell you. My dad... K, screeching. Give me whoever is in charge right now. You are behaving absolutely unacceptably and not getting me my drinks. At this point, I was on the verge of tears. Fortunately, my dad happened to be in his little office near the bar, which was more like a booth, and I could go get him. I told him what happened in a few brief words, and he actually knew who I was talking about. Apparently, he had kicked out the same lady a few weeks before abusing Mary. My dad stood up and walked over to this woman. He's about 6.5 feet tall and weighs 210 pounds, so he was pretty intimidating. This lady couldn't have been more than 5'2" and maybe 130 pounds. So when my dad walked over to this lady, you could see a little bit of apprehension on this lady's face. She was still trying to maintain her bluster, but I could also tell she didn't want to be anywhere near my dad. D, hello, is there a problem? K, yes. Are you the manager here? This bartender is absolutely awful and refusing to serve me drinks. D, ma'am, I am the owner of this building and that is my daughter. She is 14 and is not a bartender. There happened to be a framed newspaper with my dad on the front cover for buying the ice rink right where we were standing, which Karen saw. The color immediately drained out of her face, but for whatever reason, she still tried to throw a fit. K, well, she should have still served me drinks. I didn't know she was 14. Karen says something really stupid here. You should give me free skating passes for my trouble. How Karen didn't know I wasn't a bartender is a mystery to me. I was a little bit tall for my age, around 5'6", but the oldest you could have mistaken me for was maybe 16. I had freaking braces, for crying out loud. My dad was getting pretty angry right now and he was tired of dealing with this lady. D, actually, aren't you the lady who got thrown out a few weeks ago for being rude to the actual bartender? Because you have been abusing the staff here, you need to leave now and you are banned from the building as well. K, but I didn't know. You can't ban me. You have no right. D, actually I do. Now get out before I either have to remove you myself or leave before I call the police to file a report for harassment. At this point, Karen realized he wasn't actually kidding and thankfully left. My dad made sure I was okay and I got some more lemonade. Anyways, thanks for reading about my Karen encounter. I hope you like it. And this next r/IDon'tWorkHereLady story is posted by u/CM DRRABB 1983. I used the I don't work here phrase on my wife. Nothing Karen-esque, just my usual cheeky self on my wife. Today, my wife and I were at the supermarket shopping for groceries. She was looking for a particular item, not the first time we went to that particular supermarket. Thereafter, she turned around and asked me, "Do you know where's the yogurt?" A naughty thought came to my mind. I told her, "I don't work here." And we continued out hunt for the items we wanted. Edit. Wow, thanks for the awards and upvotes. Did not expect this post to be liked. Lucky for me, my wife did not have the interest to surf Reddit or know about the existence of I Don't Work Here Lady stories. We have this type of teasing each other too. And this story is posted by u/SpectreGT260, the I Don't Work Here Lady triple threat. This happened several weeks ago. I came home from work and wanted to strike something off my to-do list in the garage. This required some specific types of screws, so I planned to head to the hardware store. As I had just gotten home from work, my fiancée decided she wanted to come too. For whatever reason, I live in a vast desert with respect to hardware stores. We tried one, and they actually didn't have any hardware aside from pre-assembled packs meant to help you hang pictures. We tried another and found the specific type we needed, only to discover the bin was empty. Now, 3 hardware stores and 1.5 hours into our adventure, we ended up at a supply corporation for tractors. I went immediately to the hardware aisle and began searching. At this point, my fiancé was no longer interested in making this a joint venture and wandered off to look at tractoring clothes. After an unspecified amount of time, I found exactly what I needed, emerged, and walked towards the tractor clothing section. She saw me coming and called out to me, "Did you find everything you need?" Her question was immediately answered, but not by me. Cute, very uncomfortable looking young man, maybe 20 years old. He had several examples of carpenter and car hot work plants slung over his arm. By the looks of him, I'm assuming he was about to embark on a brand new adventure in manual labor and only owned clothing that was never meant to actually be washed. "Well, actually, ma'am, I was wondering if you carried," he started. Slightly surprised, my fiancée cuts him off. "Oh, actually, I was asking him." She clearly hadn't caught what is happening. I shrug awkwardly as he tries to apologize, but she isn't done. "Do you need help with something?" See, she didn't realize she had been mistaken for a worker based on her token, "I work here" first question. This prompts the uncomfortable looking young man to again launch into the spiel he had been rehearsing for an actual employee. "Oh yes, I found these pants, but I need them in size." "I could try to get someone for you." She cuts him off again. "Oh well, if you could just..." After the third attempt, I finally step in. "She actually doesn't work here. We are here together, and she was just asking if I was ready to leave." His face suddenly reflects his moment of realization. He mutters something including a "sorry" and quickly heads to the service counters. After we checked out, I waited until we were in the parking lot before dropping the bomb. "You know he thought you worked there, right? You kept giving the poor guy an in to keep assuming you were an employee." She had no idea. Whatever, he was pleasant. I feel a little sorry that we dragged out the awkwardness. I sure do hope what I assume is his new construction or landscaping job is working out for him. Unless I totally misread the situation too, and heavy-duty reinforced pocket saturated pants are just in right now. P.S. If you look up synonyms for tractor, it gives you stuff about caterpillars. Weird. And this story is posted by u/IZUMIRYU. Do you work for the Spurs? One thing about me, there is something about me that must scream professional. I could be in Target wearing green and still be confused for an employee. Even had a case while working DoorDash where someone waiting at a Chili's tried to get in the back of my car thinking I was their Uber. Due to Corona, all Chili's pickup orders were curbside only. For a long time, I had this polo shirt for the San Antonio Spurs, mostly plain black with silver up the sides and under the sleeves and the simple Spurs logo on my left chest. It was enough that I could wear it as a business casual most days to my actual work at the time. Apparently, combine that with how I carry myself, I was commonly asked if I worked for the Spurs. I could have easily been confused for a low-level front office worker or something. This kid, however, took the cake. I'm sitting lying at a CC's near my work on a Sunday lunch break, The much better pizza place even closer to work was closed on Sundays, and I was wearing the mentioned shirt. So I'm waiting in line at the cashier, and this little kid looked up at me and asked, "Are you the coach of the Spurs?" Technically, that was a new one on me. I just shook my head and said, "No. If I was, I would be in Milwaukee right now." The Spurs were away that day for a game against the Bucks. Kid just said, "Oh," and looked away sheepishly. Nothing dramatic, just routine, but the question was odd for more than one reason. Another issue with the kid's question, I was in my early 30s at the time, now in my late 30s, and the Spurs coach, Greg Popovich, at least 30 to 40 years my senior. It's safe to assume there is no resemblance at this point. Funny thing, while I did not and never have worked for the Spurs, I did work for a company owned by a couple of their minority owners. Oh man, those were 4 great stories. To hear the best stories of the week, click on the video in the top left-hand corner. To hear more Reddit stories all related to what you just heard, click on the video in the top right-hand corner. And if you have not already done so, click on the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Once again, this is TNA, Top Notch Audio. Thank you for listening and have yourself a great day.